You said, when I read the Bible, Deuteronomy, you went to multiple different books in the Bible, right? And you said, what I'm noticing here is, God killed 3 million, but the devil, I don't hear anything about the devil. What did you mean by that?
Well, what I'm saying is, you have to understand that a lot of the orders for death, including Sodom and Gomorrah, are being created or being ordered by God himself, if it is even a him. I don't believe it's a gender at all. But this is why I'm saying these people, the person that's being considered to be God in the Bible, I don't think is an actual creator of the universe. I think we're mistaking the creator of the universe for a person, for people, different people that exist within that text that have been masquerading as gods, according to the ancient tablets. They came here, they engaged mankind. If you read the book of Enoch, you discover like the angel Azazel comes down, right? He comes from the sky down to earth. The first thing he teaches us is how to make weapons. Let me show you how to smelt this steel and make this sword that can cut through anything. Let me show you how to make a breastplate. Let me show you how to make a shield so that you can repel a blade and all these kind of things. And then he even goes out and helps humans kill people. So these are not what they call quote unquote angels. In my opinion, these are what people call aliens or advanced. I call them advanced beings because we look a lot like them and they look a lot like us. There is some distinction. They were distinguishable from humans, but they look just like humans in the biblical text. In the Bible, in some texts, they call them the Anak, A-N-A-K, the Anunnaki, the Anak. They say we were grasshoppers in their eyesight. They were big people. And these people came from heaven to earth. And in the Netiru, in ancient Egypt, they say the Netiru came down from heaven to earth and turned mud into a kingdom. In the Aboriginal culture, the Aboriginal elder, I've been on walkabouts in the outback. The Aboriginal elders, verbal handed down history for thousands of years. We were seeded on this planet by the Pleiadians. They brought us here. We were the first people here. You go to the Hopi tribe, the Lakota tribe. Our star brothers seeded us on this planet. I mean, we keep slapping our ancient ancestors in the face, doubting their wisdom and doubting their understanding of what really happened. And doubting their drawings that they left behind and their texts that left behind by coming up with their own modern-day mainstream idea of what we think happened when they left the proof and the evidence right for us.
So in your eyes, you think Jesus was an alien?
I think Jesus was half human, half alien, and I'll tell you why. When you look at the Apocrypha text, you discover, first of all, in the regular Bible, you discover he's born of a virgin birth, right? But then in the Apocrypha text, you discover that his grandmother was also born of a virgin birth. So it seems like this establishment of a bloodline there specifically. When you read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, you discover that he talks about he developed the ability to incarnate at will on and in any plane that he desires. That's pretty powerful stuff. He's saying he can come back however he wants and when he wants and in any dimension that he wants. He even talks about having rejuvenation chambers, which is what I believe the Serapeum is located in Saqqara in Egypt, is one of his rejuvenation chambers, where they would actually create bodies and put bodies in these gigantic megaton stone boxes made of granite and diorite, which are still radioactive, by the way. You can take your Geiger counter, they're still radioactive. They have an energy source coming out of them. And then he said that I would transfer my consciousness from one body to the next. He would leave another body in there rejuvenating for 100 years, then he'd come back and get it. And he'd do that over and over again. And by that method, he lived through eons. Pretty interesting. So I think maybe they decided to come back through a womb.
Got it. What's your level of certainty on that?
My level of certainty?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, man. I feel pretty confident in it. And the reason why is because I've just done the work. I've read so much information and I've been able to put together so many dots. And I think that the average person is saying, wow, sounds outrageous because this is what I was taught in school. And all they have is the level of what their parents told them and what the school told them. And the school, we know, robs your identity and it robs your creativity and robs your consciousness. It puts you into a prison mindset. You just become an NPC. And what your parents are giving you is handed down, stuff from generations ago that a lot of the times really is just, old tradition that really has nothing to do with real science, real knowledge, real investigation. My research and investigation is second to none. I'll stand by my research and investigation against anyone. Because like I said, I've gone out there, I put the time and I put the effort in. Am I 100% correct on everything? Probably not, because nobody is. We're human beings. But at the same time, my work is pretty strong. My ability to put together circumstantial evidence is very strong. And in America, if you have enough circumstantial evidence, you can convict somebody of a crime. Take that same mindset and put it out into the field of archaeology, ancient civilizations, quantum physics, science, and anything else. You could begin to build circumstantial evidence. And if you could put enough things together that begin to make sense, people just can't see them because they're so spread out. A lot of the stuff I research is on different timelines. So you might take something from 6000 BC and find something in 1100 AD that connect together. But because people only specialize in 6000 BC, they never get to 1100. That's another specialist. So I'm a person that collects all the data.
Who have you debated?
Whoever did debate.
Have you ever had like a public debate with anybody? Like it's on YouTube, we can see, or no?
Haven't had a public debate. There's only one person that wanted to debate me, but he only wanted to debate me so that he can clout chase. This guy wanted to clout chase me. He's trying to come up.
Is he a big name or no?
Well, he's not a big name. He's trying to become big, but I looked him up first. I researched him before I disagreed to do it, and found out that he had did some things like he had a sexual abuse on a 19-year-old minor. And I'm like, why would I make a guy like this famous?
Who is this guy? Is it another YouTuber or?
Yeah, I won't give his name because
okay. Is he the one that? I think I may know who you're talking. Does he have a YouTube channel with like 3 million subscribers or something, or no?
Oh, no. He's on like 100-something thousand.
Okay, I got you. Okay. All right. I'm sure if he sees this, he'll know who it is and he'll react to it. But you're open to debating anybody?
I'm open, yeah.
Okay. So if we set up anything with anyone else that's maybe expert in the area of topic that you're okay with a panel like that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So the devil, who is the devil in your eyes? Is he also an alien, or is it not a real person, not a real spirit? Who is the devil?
Let me tell you what happened. So you go again into the ancient tablets, you discover that and Yahweh, who's in the Bible, is known as God, right? Yahweh is known in the ancient text as Satan, the Lord of Eden, Edin. The land between the Euphrates and the Tigris rivers is where they had the Eden, Edin. And when he has his outdoor laboratories, what I like to call it, where they discovered that mating these people together would work if they had enough genetic diversity. So what happens is his brother Enki, who's now known as Satan, he comes in and he starts talking to the people there, and he starts telling them, it wasn't just Adam and Eve he was talking to, there were other people there, and he was telling them how powerful they really were, and that the mysteries of the universe was inside of their body, and that they had the ability to ascend even to a higher level than even them. And so these people then realized that they weren't animals. They clothed themselves. And by the time this Yahweh character, also known as Enlil, comes back, Satan, he realizes what's happened, that his brother has given them the apple. What's the apple? Knowledge. And so he gets pissed off, and he curses his brother, and he tells them, never listen to him again. He's evil. He's the devil. He wants to hurt you. That's where this whole devil thing pops up from. It comes from the Sumerian tablets. Okay? That's where it comes from. It comes from the Sumerian tablets. Enki and Enlil, two brothers fighting each other because one brother didn't like what the other brother was doing to people.
So what is your interpretation of people who go and go to conferences and they look up to the devil and evil, and there's a religion, right? What is the church called? Satanists. What do you think about them?
I don't like it. I mean, and it's all about frequencies. Yeah, and people say, well, you don't believe in God. You're atheist. No, I'm not an atheist. I believe there's a God. I believe there's a God. I talk about it in my book, Fractal Holographic Universe, because the evidence, the circumstantial evidence of a creator is all around us, even inside this microphone.
Who do you think it is?
It's not a who, it's a frequency. I believe that God is a frequency. We have to tune into that frequency. We understand a couple things through metaphysics. There's a universal consciousness, and there's only one consciousness. You and I appear to be separate and divided apart, but we're not. We're still only one. Ancient Mayan saying, in lakek alakin, I am just another you. And so there's a radio station broadcasting out frequencies from the universal mind, and it's broken up into point number. I'm 99.1, you're 99.2, he's 99.3. Your avatar body is designed to encapsulate a point number of that frequency for a temporal amount of time. You're able to encapsulate that frequency of consciousness. So, but it's all coming from one source. It's a frequency. God is a frequency. So in the tablets, they don't actually make a human being from like dirt and dust like it says in the Bible. Like they didn't create no dirt and just make a human being like magic. What they did was there was an existing hominid already on this planet. So the Igigi was getting ready to go to war. There was going to be a coup against the kings of Earth. So they came from Mars to Earth. The gods, they fell from heaven. That really, they were the angels. They were a lower class than the level of Enki and Enlil. They didn't call them gods. They were like angels. They fell from heaven to earth. They came from Mars down to earth to go to war. In the Atrahasis, they encircled the camp in Africa of Enlil and Enki and Anu, who was their father. And they get ready to go to battle because their working conditions are harsh. They've been working for 250,000 years on their own. They call the years in shars, so it was a lower number, but each one shar is 3,600 years. So what you add it up is 250,000 years. No women was one of the biggest complaints. And the biggest complaint was no women. And they felt like they were becoming slaves, even though they were volunteers for this breakaway civilization. And so, the war almost happened, but then Enki, who's Enlil's brother, says, I have an idea. There's an existing being here. They're talking about our cousin, not Homo sapien. Something else was here already. Our cousins. We can add our essence to it and get it to do our labor, to do your labor. And an agreement was made. This is in the Enuma Elish and a totally separate tablet called the Atrahasis Epic. 2 separate tablets saying the same exact thing, which is interesting because it corroborates the story. And so this was done. And so what they did was they first started with taking genetic material and then making these clones. But the problem with the clones was they couldn't reproduce on their own. You know, if you take a horse and a donkey and you get a mule, and a mule can't mate with anything. See what I'm saying? So they had added their essence to us. We were then a mule. We weren't able to mate. They had to keep trying to recreate more and more of us the hard way. Eventually, and they were doing this in a place called, it was in South Africa, called Adam's Calendar in Africa, which they discovered recently where the first 200,000-year-old gold mines were, because they were putting us to work right away mining gold. But anyway, so from there, they said, okay, these clones are here, but it's not working out properly. And that's when Nehursag, aka Isis, they said, I'm going to take one to term. She took an egg out of a hominid, cleaned out some of the genetic material, added their essence to it. In other words, genetically modified the egg in some way. This is what we call in modern scientific terms making a zygote. And in vitro fertilization in her own womb, 10 months later gave birth to Adamu, which means first man. And the famous cylinder scroll is in the British Museum of her holding up the baby saying, my hands have created it, the Adamu. And that was Adam. And then after that, there was this tablet that came out called the Myth of Adapa, which is also Adamu in a different way. But it talks about the fact that we are created in a way where Enki, for whatever reason, it pissed his brother off. He added something a little extra to us that he wasn't supposed to do. He gave us the capability of having, in the future, of superseding the Anunnaki themselves. And it made the Anunnaki relatives of his jealous of us and angry with us because he had created something that even long term could be better than them. Extra strands of DNA and all this other stuff that he incorporated into our genome that would allow us eventually one day to rise even above. And nobody knew why he did it, but it got him into a battle against his own brother. This is all in ancient tablets.